Hello, my IELTS friends. Imagine this. You're in the speaking test. The examiner asks you a part 3 question, and you freeze. Your mind goes blank. But don't worry. Today, I'm going to teach you a method that will help you answer part 3 questions clearly and confidently. So, grab a notebook, grab a pen, and let's begin. Okay, this is called the area method. A-R-E-A, area. Please write this down. Make notes as we go, okay? All right, let's unpack what this is. First, you want to answer the question. Now, that sounds obvious, and it kind of is, but we want to do it clearly, okay? Follow that with a reason, and don't stop there, give an example. So we have answer, reason, example. Now, if you're aiming for a 6.5 or above, you should be finishing your answer with an alternative view, okay? Don't worry, we'll get into this shortly. For now, guys, write this down, okay? We take notes for a reason. And let's circle the 3 main points. Answer, reason, example. And let's look at a sample, okay? So here we have a part 3 question. Do you think it's important to save money? And we will follow the area method, right? A-R-E-A. That will give us something like, absolutely. I believe it's essential that everybody has at least some savings. This is our answer. It's clear. The examiner understands exactly what we believe, okay? But we don't stop there. We give a reason. Simply because it helps them better prepare for emergencies and unplanned events. Wow, doesn't that sound great? But we don't stop there. We give them an example. For example, last year my friend lost his job, but he was able to pay the bills for a couple of months because of his savings. This is a complete part 3 answer, okay? If you want to go further, you can give the alternative view using a phrase like but or however, okay? We could add something like this. However, some people say that it isn't as important nowadays, as you can always borrow from the bank. Now that's great, okay? And you can see clearly how the area method works. One thing to note before we go further, don't forget, when we learn things, we must use them, okay? But don't stop there. You guys have got to repeat it. If you learn it, use it, and repeat it, you are definitely going to achieve it, okay? That's why we make notes that we can come back to later. Okay, back to the class. What do you think is an ideal age to get married? Okay, this is a very popular IELTS Part 3 question, and you should now take some time to make your answer. Write down in your notebook AREA and put some ideas down, and let's practice this question. Here would be my answer. In my opinion, the ideal age to get married is around 28 to 30 years old. That's my answer, right at the beginning, really clear to understand. This is because by this age, most people have finished their education, started their careers, and are more mature. They're usually more financially stable too, which is important for starting a family. For example, my cousin got married at 29, and it's worked out well for him. He had saved enough money to buy a house, and he was ready to take on responsibilities like having children. That said, some people might say that it's better to marry earlier and focus on your career after marriage. Doesn't that sound great? We can clearly follow a great method and order to the answer. You can see in my text I've highlighted the full stops or period marks in a light red, and let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sentences. And that is a complete, a finished answer. Do not go on and on and on in part 3. The examiner will stop you, and it kind of feels annoying and might shock you when the examiner keeps stopping you because you're talking for too long. Okay? So practice your answer for this question. That brings this lesson to an end. So go and practice the area method. Give a nice clear answer, back it up with a reason, an example, and possibly an alternative view. Okay? I'm sure in no time you'll be speaking more confidently and won't worry as much when it comes to part 3. Before we finish, I'm going to leave you with an extra question on the screen. Now, do you think children should spend more time outdoors? Write it down. A, R, E, A, area, and make some notes. Practice answering. See you next time.